Alrighty, so it is going to be this Zoolock, and you talk about the strength of this warrior deck against these kind of rush down decks. He has the Whirlwind. Does he hold the Brawl? It's kind of a high mana card. Do you think that's a bit too greedy?
Having the coin influences this decision a lot. I know
He's actually considering holding the Baron Geddon.
I know that moving into a few seasons ago, that Kitkatz told me if you have the coin, keep Brawl. If you don't have the coin, don't keep Brawl. And I think a lot of that was seeded in the fact that you see an extra card, but another one of it was seeded in the fact that if your opponent gets an explosive draw like the one we're seeing from Alchemixt here, that it can potentially win you the game. Right there's Harrison Jones. He wants some action, man. Yeah. So Flame
Don't
Imps
worry,
are
when he
critical.
plays the Draxus, Harrison works on that.
Bam! Draw 17 cards and deck
There you
yourself
go.
and take all that fatigue damage. But look at this start from Alchemist here. Kitkatz, meanwhile, he's got a Whirlwind and an Execute, but does he want to do those? And can he hold on long enough to get value from this Brawl?
Do you think you just drop the Armor Smith? I feel like you almost have to.
I think you got to drop this Armor Smith because you need it to challenge this Leper Gnome. But part of what's going through his head,
it's going to be ignored. He's going to take all the damage to the face. I mean, that's already 8 damage sitting on the board. Then you clear the Gnome. That's 10 damage.
Right.
Plus the Imps are still alive. It starts to get pretty gross.
Part of what's going through his head is Shadowed Sun Cleric right now. If his opponent draws a Shadowed Sun Cleric, it's a brutal spot for him. We can take a look at Alchemix deck here, and we actually know he's not running Shadowed Sun Cleric.
Yeah. The other thing to be concerned about, if he drops this Amani Berserker and you Whirlwind into it, you're giving it the Enrage.
Right. So a lot of things to be thinking about here. I mean, this is one of the reasons why Brawl is so critical in this, is because a turn 4 Brawl and a turn 5 Brawl make a world of difference when you're playing against a deck that's dedicated to applying a lot of board pressure. So 2 things are going through Alchemix's head. Number 1 is, should I try to get a 50-50 with this Knife Juggler, or should I hedge my bets against a card like Whirlwind and possibly combination, maybe 2 Whirlwinds even perhaps, and get this Amani Berserker online and hope that it can take out this Armor Smith, or on the back of 1 Whirlwind, apply a lot of pressure to my opponent.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot to think about. It looks like he is finally going to drop that Amani Berserker. I think it's the right choice, knowing especially, it's going to it kind of makes Whirlwind scary too, you know? And I mean, although you can have the turn 4 Brawl, still going to take a lot of damage for that, man.
That's potentially a really good draw here. But I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a Whirlwind into an Execute, into a coin on a Cruel Taskmaster here. So he's going to be able to deal with this Amani Berserker. He's going to take out 2 of these Flame Imps, and the Leopard Imp's going to be gone. So he takes a full board clear here, and he gains a few points of life by doing it. That 1-1 still on the board, it's being challenged directly by this 2-2, but now his main goal is to get... Ooh, wow. That's really surprising.
I guess he just really wants to have that Brawl available in case something crazy happens.
That's a very interesting play. I'm not sure I 100% agree with it, but again, this Armor Smith is directly challenging these 3-1s, so maybe his play was to look forward and try to do something like...
He's letting himself get a lot lower though, man. I mean, you know, he's now at 13 HP.
Right.
Now, I mean, do you coin Brawl? He's thinking about it.
Well, Kitkatz says his Armor Smiths never lose Brawl. Oh my gosh, he's going for it. And
oh my god.
Kitkatz doesn't lie. Armor Smith wins the Brawl. He is so confident in it, and I have seen this time and again. At Fight Night, he did the exact same thing. Forsen had a concealed Gadget Stain Auctioneer, and he played Armor Smith and brawled. Armor Smith won that Brawl. Look at the confidence he showed in this Armor Smith winning the Brawl. He attacked his opponent and then brawled with it. That is insanity.
That is ridiculous. And I mean, imagine he keeps a Flame Imp and Armor Smith is gone. Think how different this game is right now. there could be a Doom Guard coming out. Okay, just a Soulfire even.
This is a really bad spot for Alchemix, by the way, because he doesn't want to discard this Argent Commander. That's a large portion of his reach, but he also can't Soulfire this Armor Smith, and now Armor Smith is going to be able to pick off another minion, and Kitkatz is going to get a chance to develop his board.
Yeah, and I mean, on the back of that Brawl, he may have just won the game, man. I mean, that was like, to me, I almost think it's a bad play. It's like, you know, it's one of those things. It's like when he did the Brawl before. This time it pays off for him. Last time it just straight up lost him the game when he brawled instead of doing the other. But I mean, it's a bit different this time because maybe he didn't really have another real option. So I guess that's something to consider.
Second shield block's really good too, by the way. So now Argent Commander, it deals damage, but it's not very efficient because he's just going to clear the shield.
And he's at so much HP. I mean, he's at 18 right now.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if he Soulfired here. I don't think he wants to, of course, because he can discard that Doom Guard so many times. But this is a spot now where Kitkatz has a really big chance to recover because you're seeing piece by piece Alchemix try to recover this board. He may be able to get to Alexstrasza, and that Baron Geddon's going to help him do that a lot as well.
So he's going to drop the Harrison, man. Nothing for it to get rid of. And now, I mean, he's going to tap Soulfire.
Yeah, you got to tap Soulfire here. and hope that you don't discard this Doom
Yeah,
Guard.
and okay, let's see. This is moment of truth, man. Okay,
Okay, so
that's
good
okay.
news for Alchemixt now. It's unfortunate that he's going to. Ooh, if he plays a Harvest Golem here, I don't see the reason for soul firing right off the bat. Like I think you could just develop your minions and use those to counter it. But he is at 16 life, so he does have to be concerned about Gromish coming out, perhaps on the back of something like an Inner Rage to end the game.
But don't you just feel like at this point it's like you have to get that Doomguard down and start doing the damage? I mean, he's getting so high on mana. I mean, I feel like that would have been the better play.
Yeah,
I mean, you have him 5 HP lower. He wouldn't have had any answer for that. Of course, he doesn't really know that, but still, it's just like in this situation, how do you kill? Like, I mean,
this is one of the ways I think. And now this is another big moment
now
for
do you
him.
trade?
Is again an Inner Rage on something like a Gromish will end this game if you don't clear this Azure Drake. So
And at the same time, I mean, if you do, then it's an easy
oh
extra.
my gosh,
Wow.
that is a huge draw from Alchemixt. Kitkat's now sitting at 10. Baron Geddon's not going to get it done. The 1 health matters a
Oh, the
lot here
charge
now
comes out.
because otherwise the Shield Slam would have been able to kill it. And
Oh my God.
I think you have to. Oh, my mind is blown. He's not going to be able to arm up this turn, I don't think. There's a couple of different
Wow.
plays he can go with this. Number one is the Core Chron Elite into this.
I feel like you have to charge execute. I feel like that's the play.
Well, he can also just armor up and Shield Slam
That's
execute
true.
too.
But
So
I think he's going to go face, and then you know, I mean, I meant charge the face and then execute.
and then execute. I think you take out the 2-1 here.
Okay. So you think you just trade with Corcoran Elite and
Right.
keep that
I think
alive?
you just try to reestablish your board position and go from there. But
Okay.
there's
Even
a lot
with
of
the Baron
merit
getting
to
follow-up to
there's a
come
lot
next?
of merit to charging in his face because that says that you're holding Gromish and that you might be able to kill your opponent.
And
So
he has Alcatraz next turn.
right. So if his opponent reads into the fact that that this play can signify Gromish, potential for Alchemix again to have to shift his play to respond to that. Because if he can't kill him,
Yeah, because I mean, going to his face, it leaves him with 4 damage. Let's think. Has he used both Soulfires? He's
Both
used a
Soulfires are
Doomguard.
gone now.
Both Soulfires are gone. He used an Argent Commander. So, I mean, he could get another Doomguard or another Argent Commander. Those are his 2 outs for the extra damage if you do it that way. And wow, shield blocks. Okay.
so you're going to see Shield Slam into execute on this. So it's not a big loss because execute's effectively dealing 3 damage.
Now
Not a
you
big
just
deal.
armor up, or you.
I think you get this Fiery War Axe down, and you start paying again your health if you can as a resource because you want to get this Alexstrasza down. I'd be very hard pressed to not see it, but I'm okay with armoring as well. I think armoring is a fine play.
All right, let's see what he draws. Moment of Truth. That's not going to help him. Yeah, that's
That
okay.
helps get some pressure on the board. That's
Yep.
a pretty crucial draw, I think.
Yeah, I think the Dark Iron Dwarf is pretty big here. So he's going to have some damage, and the taunt is something to get through. So
Right.
you know, having the Dark Iron Dwarf on the back of that, I think it makes it a pretty nice hand there. Now, he's looking to just trade into that. Now he does still have 2 more removals. Basically, he can remove that, and then he can fire War Axe if he wants and kill up the 2/3. But he's paying life, and I think he's just not comfortable at his life total right now. So he's going to armor up.
Right.
And now 6 damage. He needs 13. That's not going to do anything for him. Do you tap here? I mean, you almost have to, but
Yeah,
that's
you have
a scary
to tap.
world.
I
And
don't
Big
think
Game
there's any
Hunter
question
not
about
going to help him. I mean, you just dropped both these cards, but now, I mean, he basically has to clear.
Here's
Does
a
he
bigger
not?
question coming into it is whether or not you drop this Big Game Hunter and try to get pressure going, or if you save this
it.
Big Game Hunter in hopes that you can do something like make an impact versus maybe Baron Geddon, perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, knowing that he has Baron Geddon, we're like, well, yeah, sure, you should save it. But I mean, do you save it here? I think he might just play it because
Oh my gosh. Oh no!
yeah, and it's going to die to
Oh,
Baron Geddon without
no.
doing anything. Or do you Alexstrasza here?
No, I don't think so at all. You attack into this Dark Iron
Baron
Dwarf, you jam down this Baron Geddon, and I think you just armor up, honestly. I think you try to get as much value from this armor as you can. Because this this is spelling lethal next turn. So the only thing he's worried about, if he chooses to slam here, it shows that he wants to play around power overwhelming. So that way he can't run this Argent Squire into this. But man, this is a big turnaround. And now if you're Alchemixt, you need some hefty draws. Abusive Sergeant is not going to be enough in combination with something like power overwhelming. Leper Gnome's not going to do it either.
That's it.
And that's going to be match over to Kitkatz on the back of a brawl. Kitkatz did not lie. Armorsmith did not die.
Yep.
Everyone who's called Kitkatz a liar can finally put away those memes. You're spamming them in chat, I know it. I don't even have to see it. I've got telepathy. A well-played series, I think, from both of these players. And again, just the power of this warrior deck coming out. He did